Hi, I'm Serge Ansar. I'm the head of Multilingual Editorial Production at the International Baccalaureate, which is a non-for-profit international education organization. My department runs the editorial work and translation work for our organization. Our mission is to make the world a better place through education. So that's a big thing. And, you know, the organization started 50 plus years ago, focusing on international schools, and therefore the idea was, you know, it was in the sort of post-Second World War movement about educating the leaders of tomorrow to avoid wars again. So it was very much focused on international schools, started in Switzerland, therefore was bilingual English and French, because French, well, still had that, you know, resonance as an international language, was still the international language of a lot of organizations, and also Switzerland, you know, obviously is one of the languages of Switzerland. And then Spanish was added because of the importance of Latin America. But since then, the addition of other languages have come as a response from growth in certain territories. So we're responding to that, or we're responding to government bodies coming to us to say, we're interested in your program, you know, is there anything, or we're interested in making our student population more internationally minded, more mobile. Can you help us in this respect? That's been the case with the German Foreign Office and their overseas schools. That's been the case with MEX in Japan. And more recently, there's been the case with a few of the offices of education in South Korea. So that's how languages have been added, you know, more as a response than us consciously targeting a particular market. We have two streams of budget in a way. You know, in the organization, we have BAU budget. So for that, my team goes out to our internal stakeholders, you know, on a regular basis to, first of all, establish the plan and the budget for the next 12 months. And then every quarter, we meet with them to see how things are evolving. For strategic initiatives, those have a general budget, if you will. So they, you know, whilst I control the translation budget for the entire organization, when it's a strategic initiative, that budget is self-contained, and they would talk to us about, okay, we want to roll out in Korea, you know, so it's for this particular program, so they want these documents, and then we'll do a costing for them, and we'll say, okay, this is what you need to budget so that, you know, we're able to deliver the service. So that's how we avoid being caught off guard. We try to input into what, you know, should be delivered and in what order, what makes sense strategically from our perspective. We will say we can't publish or we can't release this document until we've looked at this one first, because there's a lot of terminology that needs to be tackled first. So we are influencing the program. Well, we serve the entire organization. So, you know, because we are a multilingual organization in our operations, but our internal language of communication and work and internal working language is English, a lot of the material, if not, you know, I would say the majority, 98%, is created in English first. And then it has to be, you know, delivered in the languages that we're supporting. So as an educational organization, you know, we have our primary focus is the development of, you know, international curriculum programs and courses. So that implies working a lot with the program development team in the production of the subject matter guides, the teacher support material. It implies working with our assessment office for the preparation of examination administration material. We don't actually get involved in the translation of the exam themselves, because there's privacy, or there's you know, like they really want to self-contain that to ensure that there's, you know, very little risk of leakage of the exam questions before the exam. So it's very concentrated, but we collaborate with that team in terms of terminology management, in terms of vetting of the resources, and then they work with the resources directly in some secure environment. We kind of have to stick to what's coming out there, because at the core, the organization wants to do content that's internationally minded, and, you know, like the increase of international mindedness is a key fundamental, you know, key element of all of our programs. So what we do and what my team does, because actually the English editorial team is within my department as well, is to work with the authors to say, this is not going to work. This is not, universal enough, or you need. So, our style guides is also talking about that. Don't talk about seasons because we're all working with both hemispheres. So you need to talk about the months. Be mindful of things that are too colloquial. The mission is very important for most of our staff. It's a key driver. I mean, people come to the organization for various reasons, but I would say the reason why they stay is the mission. Working for a not-for-profit that's trying to make the world a better place creates a lot of drive and energy for everybody involved, and it just creates a really positive atmosphere. So my staff tend to, if they come from a commercial background, working for commercial translation agencies, or having been a freelancer, what they appreciate and what becomes a strength for them is the focus on quality. That it's not, because it's important for us that what we send out there, because it's educational material, it will impact the quality of education, the future of people. That quality is a key element. Not to say that we don't care about time or we don't care about money, but there's a real strong focus on quality. So they have the drive, they have the focus on quality, and they're very flexible and adaptable, because they're really also end user focused. They really always think about what difference is this going to make to the teacher in the classroom and the students in the classroom, the work that they do, and that's their strength. I think is that focus on the end user. My team is now looking at developing house style guidelines for all the languages that we're supporting that align with DEI. Of course, in the more grammatically gendered languages, it's a journey for everything, but in the more grammatically gendered languages, we are starting first by correcting the absence of women visibility in the language, because those languages tended to use by default masculine plural to mean both genders, and we are working first on rectifying that. We have a lot of requests from our schools, especially from the from the students, about non-binary inclusion, and that's going to be a little bit more difficult because that's still forming, if you will, in those languages, and in some languages it's going to be quite a journey. Arabic, for example, I mean, we're far from getting somewhere. Fortunately, in Asian languages, it's easier because genders are not necessarily represented, in the language, or they don't use pronouns so much. It's the context, is enough, so they don't have to provide all the information. But yeah, it's a journey.